There's one childhood story that I still think about to this day, and ironically it still pisses me off while also having the biggest benefit to my productivity, and that is the story of the tortoise and the hare. Now we all heard this story, but just in case you need a quick recap, two animals agreed to a race, a rabbit and a turtle. Now the rabbit is extremely fast, the turtle is notorious for being very slow. It's obvious who should win. Now as the race starts, the rabbit, as predicted, goes extremely fast. But about halfway through, notices, hey, I got this in the bag, it's an easy win, and decides to take a nap. But by the time it wakes up from the nap, sees that the turtle won, and the rabbit is extremely embarrassed. Now as a kid, I got really upset over this story. The rabbit had one job. All it had to do was secure the win, then it could take a nap afterwards. Not to mention, why does a rabbit have to take a nap in the middle of the race anyway? Like, that is just so illogical. Throw me into the race. I could beat a dang turtle, right? But that wasn't the point of the story. Now, the main message is slow and steady wins the race. We've all heard it so often that it's a cliche, and it lost a lot of meaning to me. However, when I started to reassess different things in my past, it all of a sudden came into full focus. See, as a kid, I did piano lessons, and at first I didn't really notice a difference between myself and the other piano students. We were at the same skill level. But as the years progressed, that difference grew and grew and grew. Now I'll be honest, my practice habits sucked. I would wait until the last day before the lesson, and then I'd cram in an hour or two. And did I make some progress? Yeah, absolutely. Throughout the years, I definitely made progress. Now this was completely different than what the other piano students were doing. Now I'm not sure if their parents were forcing them to play every night, if they picked it up on their own, or maybe it was a combination of the two. What I can tell you was that as the years passed on, it was extremely embarrassing to have to compete against these students in piano competitions. While my main focus was just to memorize the notes and play in front of the judge, these students were going the extra mile. They're making sure that all the notes were soft and loud, major contrast, and just going smoothly. So then when later on it came down to giving out the medals, I was never on the podium. My highlight was being an honorable mention, which is a fancy way of saying fourth place. And maybe there was a fifth kid in there, so I beat one of the other kids, but that doesn't mean anything when I've been taking piano lessons for years and years and years, and I had nothing to show for it. Okay, so how does me playing piano as a kid relate to the story of the tortoise and the hare, and how I'm able to extract these lessons? Well, as a kid, I didn't connect the dots between practicing consistently and then just having this burst of motivation due to procrastination. Because on paper, I could say, oh yeah, well, I practice 2 hours a week. Doesn't make a difference how I do it. But it does. Because if I would have done it 15 minutes every single night, it would have developed a good habit. It would have better ingrained it into my long-term memory. As well as, who knows, I could have had these bursts where maybe the last day I did an extra hour of practice, and that would have put me further ahead. Now, relaying it to the story, you notice how the tortoise had a huge burst of energy but then stopped, but the tortoise that was going consistently surpassed the rabbit? Same situation applies here. Now as an adult, looking back at that, I feel guilty. I have regret. I also think about where would I be at my full potential? Because I ingrained bad habits that carried over into my studying and with other goals that I'd work on throughout my life. But at the same time, I don't like being a victim. I like being a victor. I like extracting any lessons from the past and make that be a positive to my life right now. Which, by the way, can you make sure to like and subscribe? On this channel, we're focused on improving our habits, our goals, and actually making progress. So speaking about progress, let's fast forward to where I find myself today. As an adult, I have plenty of projects and tasks that I want to accomplish, and it's not something that I can get done in just one day. It's going to take a long time frame. Often there'll be a deadline, I'll wait until the last moment, have that burst of motivation, and then all of a sudden find myself procrastinating again. And then I circle back in my mind thinking, hey, didn't I do this as a kid? What about that story about the tortoise and the hare? And then I realize, I gotta do something different. It's times like these I remind myself I can do 15 minutes of hard work towards the project that I need to do. I have no excuses. I'm also not that little kid anymore, and I know the power of consistency. Quick example of what happened to me this week. I started my own company, and now it's time for me to create the website. For some reason, I'm procrastinating with it. I think it's just a matter of, I know that there's going to be obstacles along the way. There's certain things that I just don't know. And it's just a huge process and I'm delaying it. I'm thinking like, I'll just wait until a time where I can just get it all done, maybe on the weekend. And that's what caused me to say, I'm flipping the strategy. I'm putting in at least 15 minutes every single day towards progressing on this goal. So what happened? Well, yesterday I started off with the 15 minutes, picked out the URL, had to figure out like, where do I want to host this? How does this all work? And then just did a quick amount of just constructing it. And ironically, today I had new ideas for it. I'm like, oh, I like this. I like this. I put in a ton more time than just that 15 minutes. Now I'm excited. Now I'm motivating. And I'm having that burst of energy where I want to put in and construct this all. Let's compare this to the alternate universe me that's still delaying, procrastinating. Maybe I finally get it done in 2 weeks. But how much more progress am I making within this 2-week window by getting this website done already? And where will I be from there? And that's just a 2-week window. How about if I apply that same technique and thought process for years and years and years? With all that being said, please make sure to like and subscribe. Now, hopefully my version helped you out see things through a different light. You probably encountered that same lesson in your own life, so I'd be curious to hear your story down below in the comments. I'll see you in the next video.